everyone, you're with Christine and Ask Your Angels. We are so thrilled to be back. We've missed all of you. And tonight's show is Jeepers Creepers, Where'd You Get Those Reapers? So tonight my very special returning guest is Michelle DeRoche from Canada's Most Haunted. And of course we're here to celebrate Halloween. It's our Halloween special. And so just to give you a little insight into where ghosts came from, they originated because, of course, in ancient times there was that knowledge that they were pretty sure that people's spirits left their bodies when they died, and of course they figured they roamed the land, and that's where ghosts originated. And so that's why they had funeral services, hoping it would lay the ghosts to rest. But there's always been an understanding that at the time of death, the Grim Reaper shows up. And so, you know, if you see a Grim Reaper tonight, it's not a good thing, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So, cheers to Halloween.
Cheers to that.
Okay. So, you guys don't see a Grim Reaper out there, do you? Oh man, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, right?
It wouldn't be a good thing, but some of us like Grim Reapers. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna bite. Why?
Kind of spooky things this time of year. We like being followed around by anything that's
I get
considered
followed around all the
macabre.
time. You mean like at the grocery store? Because I got a story. No.
If you got a Reaper at the grocery store, I'd wonder.
So, since Michelle has been on our show, Michelle is now, is it co-founder of the Spiritorium?
Yeah, I'm co-proprietor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And can you
absolutely.
tell us about the Spiritorium?
The Spiritorium is amazing. That's all I can tell you, really. I don't even know how to describe it. It's an old apothecary style store. When you walk in, you will find people dressed up in Victorian clothing of period time. There are herbals, there are incenses. Everything is natural. Everything is in raw form, so it gets weighed out for you, and it gets, you know, it gets bagged all separately. It's really quite nice. We have a lot of oddities, antique oddities. When I say oddities, it could be anything. Like right now we have going up for auction the pajamas that were worn in the TV show, actually not the TV show, what am I saying, in the movie The Last Exorcism. And
The pajamas.
The bloody pajamas, yeah, and they're authentic and they're all certified, and it's going up for auction. It's on consignment.
Seriously, who would want to wear those to bed?
You wouldn't. It's
That'd be
actually
a little scary.
they're mounted on a 3D image that's coming out of a big frame. Like it's huge. I mean, it's up for auction because we really don't have a lot of space for it. But you can go to the Spiritorium and see it. So, you know, like I said, a lot of oddities, antiques.
And where's it located?
It's located at 168 Dundas Street West in Dundas. Not Dundas, King Street. See, I'm never there. I'm kind of the elusive partner.
It's in Dundas.
It's in
right?
Dundas, Ontario. King Street West. Sorry. My bad.
And if people want to go to the website for the Spiritorium,
www.thespiritorium.com.
that must have taken you a long time to figure out that one.
You have no idea. It's a real tongue twister, especially after a little too much wine.
So I've been on the website and they mention cabinet curiosities. So they have all sorts of really cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the show The Grimm? Is it Grimm?
Grimm? I don't have a lot of time to watch television. I think I might have caught a glimpse of it, though.
Well, you know, since retiring from the Ask Your Angel show, I've got nothing else to do. So that is an awesome show. But they have an apothecary, am I saying right? Store, and with all the really, people go in for like magic potions. And
yeah, it's kind of like that. We have all natural resins and things like that as well, and along with herbals and oils, and we'll be bringing in pet products and things like that.
And what if someone came in and said, I want a love potion?
Well, actually, my partner Ed and Sika are always there, and Ed's kind of a master at making all kinds of different concoctions. So ask and perhaps ye shall receive.
And I think we have a picture of the Spiritorium, do we not? It's an inside shot, just to give you an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah.
We're joined by Tech Guy. So, do you see a picture?
There's psychic readings that take place. There are different types of tea leaf reading, things like that. And we have workshops. There'll be book signings from authors.
Really?
Yeah. And November 3rd is technically our grand opening. We will be featuring author Wayne Mallows, who's a really good friend of mine, and he's the author of Whitechapel Road, a vampire tale. It's the first and it's going to be in a series. We're just waiting for book 2, which is Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary.
Oh, I saw that on your Facebook page.
It's going to be amazing, and he's bringing down his beautiful old hearse, and he'll be doing book signings, he'll be meeting people, and then of course later that night is the debut of the Dundas Spirit Walk.
Wow. So for people that are in the GTA, how would they get there?
By car?
No,
on a broom? I don't know.
Kind of where, for people who aren't familiar with Dundas, like whereabouts?
You would have to make your way to Hamilton area, and you would keep going until you hit Main Street West. And taking Main Street West, you just take a little jog, and there's a street right after McMaster University, which most people know, and it takes you right into the small historic town of Dundas. Our building is at least, probably a good 150 years old, maybe more, and it is haunted by the spirit of a Victorian lady. Hence why we battled for the location.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about her? How's it haunted? What does she do?
Well, Sika, my partner, has picked up that her name is Abigail, and she was a resident of the Dundas area. Sika got the whole write-up on her. She's also a psychic artist, so she was able to draw an image of Abigail. And Abigail comes around, and it's not the building in specific that she, that she resides in per se. We've actually gotten reports years ago. My chiropractor actually is just 3 doors down, and he would be giving me descriptions of a woman going back years ago. And when we got the location, the people who were there previous to us were telling us and describing this lady to us. I'm having like a flashback, a deja vu, going, wait a minute, I think I know this lady. And so she does, she does kind of roam the area. So it's kind of interesting. But Sika has made mention of things being, books being tossed off the shelf. Maybe she's not in agreement, I don't know. And she was showing a piece to a customer one day, and it had a little lid on it, and the thing popped right out of there and just went right across it just literally, there she went.
Because they like us to know they're there.
Oh, she surely does. So, and of course we have cameras in there, night vision cameras, so I like to sit at night and watch and see if they pick anything up. Being motion activated and all, this should be interesting.
That would be neat.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have another friend, Robbie Thomas, who has written, is it Parasylum?
Yeah, Robbie is quite an exceptional man. He helps, I guess he's like a psychic profiler, and he's helped many families basically, looking for missing people, missing children. He was very instrumental in the Tori Stratford case. It's just, it takes a special individual to do that type of a job, especially when you're looking and dealing with children.
Yes.
And he's really, an incredible person. So yeah, if you see the book, buy it.
Well, I think he's been posting inserts of the book on your Canada's Most Haunted page on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible. I mean, it really looks scary. And I think I read today, are they not looking into it for a movie?
Robbie has a lot of things going on. He's been very popular in the media, and there's been a lot of interest coming his way for television or different shows, and very possible. I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit if it did go to film. So
I have to ask, because I don't want to be rude to Michelle, but I feel that she's a little bit distracted tonight, and because obviously I should be your main focus, but being next to someone who's continuously stroking a skull makes me very uncomfortable.
Sorry.
So maybe it's time you introduce your friend.
Well, he's very rare, so I'm holding on to him for life. He is a skull. He's a rare, very rare specimen, and what makes him rare is the fact that he's molded in this clear glass. And he came out of university in Europe, and he was used for teaching, of course. he is literally a perfect specimen in every sense of the word. I mean, there's not a thing off about this guy. And
Michelle, there are some good men out there. I think you know.
this guy keeps
It's
me
sad.
company on those long nights of work, and we hang out and have a glass of wine. He's my company. So, no, but he is quite exceptional. And again, he did come to me as a haunted object, and remains that way.
So he's haunted?
He's haunted, and
And he's leaving with you. I just want to be clear.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So, but he's one of my many skulls that I actually do have. But this
You
guy's
said
in
he's
demand.
famous.
Well, he's famous. He's
I
been
thought when you said famous, he was a movie star. I thought he was
No.
Lurch from the Addams Family. Do you remember that guy with his teeth? Show the teeth.
Isn't he
'Cause that's
perfect?
what
Look
the
at that
teeth look
face.
like.
Look at that face. Isn't he just
I don't know.
wonderful?
I think Tech Guy's cuter than that.
Yeah. He's perfect. He's perfect. But I get a lot of offers for him for sale, actually, and the bids are getting quite up there. It's just from one gentleman in particular. I tried to actually buy a torso with this, but it was in a green glass.
Okay, we're just going into a whole different area here, and
Yes, it
kids
is.
watch this show, Michelle.
Oh, really? Okay, we can't talk body parts, kids. Sorry.
Okay, he's beautiful. You brought some others. Are you okay to let him go
Yes,
momentarily?
I
know it's
actually just
difficult
didn't
for
really
you.
know where to put him because he's quite heavy. So once I put him
Do you
down,
want to try
we
and
want to
put him
leave him
here?
down.
You can try. It's-
There you go.
You hear a big crash.
Do you want me to just put him on you and he could be staring at you?
No,
you
I'm
want to
good.
start?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, he's a male, and you can tell because of he's got a very
I would
large
hope after all
forehead
that
and-
he would be a
Oh,
male.
the stroking?
I was
Yeah.
gonna
Well, we've
say.
got a little female here, and she was also used for scientific teaching.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's all red. Is this where
Well,
the
this
ears
no.
were?
It's colored in because this is how they teach you. There's writing on it, and see, there's pieces of tape here because when they were teaching, it was most likely in a school. They would that's how they would label all the different parts of the human skull. So
what's this
she was
saying
a
here?
small
This-
female.
Frontal. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So of course the top does come off. We won't do that. So yeah, see, she's considerably smaller than this guy over here. So this is my little female, and of course, what you might find in the spiritorium is more animal skulls. This is a timber wolf, and they're very hard to get because you don't want you're not allowed to kill them per se. And this guy here was already passed, so we ended up with him. But he's again really nice specimen.
Should we ask Tech Guy how he passed? You seen Michelle's big truck outside?
No, I actually like wolves, so no, I would not have roadkill this poor guy. But there he is. But again, just a few of my collections. I do like to collect oddities myself. There's actually a huge market for it, and with that said, I like to collect more mortuary things. I actually have religious things that come from all over Europe that come out of old churches and things like that. But funeral stuff are my favorite.
Yeah, clearly. Michelle brought something extra special tonight that kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies. So.
Oh, come on. Really?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well, again, and these aren't really easy to find per
If this were a horror flick after the show, Tech Guy would have set you up to this, and I'd be...
Toe tags.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're a dead guy, you get a toe tag. Okay, these are really old toe tags. And,
Right.
and this, of course, these are
Creepy.
mortician's instruments. There we go. Look, did I drop something? I did. I dropped a needle. I'll pick it up.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, so where are my... Here, see? Here we got our needles. To sew your lips shut.
Oh, God.
What do you think, Tech Guy? Should we go for it?
He'd be all over that, but it would be the end of our show.
I was thinking, I don't know, that could work for me.
I mean,
So-
seriously, I think out of all the shows I've had, this is creeping me out the most.
Really?
What is it about death that really frightens people?
Toe tags. It's kind of like the last frontier. I don't know.
Do you ever, when you're getting a pedicure, let's say I've had a pedicure in a while, and my nails, they look so pretty, and I look down and go, please, like this is a big priority. Please God, please don't let me die with ugly toes. Because you always picture the little toe tag, right?
Yeah.
What a stupid thing to worry about when you're...
silly. Yeah, it's silly. There are more things to worry about, I think. But death is just that. It's the final frontier. It's. I don't look at death like most people look at death. So to me, to have things such as this, it's just more part of life than anything else.
It's a process.
Oh, of course it's a process, absolutely. And I mean, death is simply just the next level of life. You just move on. It's not the physical person that makes up the individual. It's the spirit energy that makes up the individual. So you can't look at the physical as being anything more than what it is. It's just a shell. It's a vehicle. It's nothing more.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. And Ragabar said today, she said, death is not the ending, it's the beginning.
Absolutely, and it's a great beginning. So I think what happens, you get funerals, for example. Why are they so somber? I had to say to my husband, I said, let me tell you what, if I don't have a party at my funeral, I'm going to haunt you forever. You'll never sleep another night.
That's what I said to Tech Eye. I do not want a funeral.
What?
I don't want a funeral. I want them.
What a celebration of life.
Yeah, you rent like a big, like a restaurant or something. Everyone comes out.
Like that. I want a hall and I want a party and I want people just to get drunk and be happy and realize that this is how I was. I celebrated life and I want them to celebrate life.
Maybe we could have a joint one.
Well, you better get your timing right then. I plan on being here for a while.
Hey,
I'm way too busy, apparently.
I've just been told that I'm going to die in my sleep in a very old age.
There you go.
So you guys are stuck with me for a long time. Because, you got to know from this, we're going to be back.
About that.
He looks happy. Yeah. Are you happy, honey? Yeah, he's delirious. Yeah, that's his Halloween face. He's just getting in the mood. So I hear, speaking of books, Stephen King has a new book coming out. It's the sequel to The Shining.
Ooh, I love The Shining. It's like best movie ever.
What's it called? The second one.
I have no idea. I've never. Doctor
Sleep. I don't know.
I haven't read a good Stephen King novel in ages. I don't have an opportunity to read a lot. I'll read books that my friends send me that they have written, because I kind of try to prioritize those. But my life isn't at a place where, aside from researching and studying, trying to better my research skills, to sit down just with a really good book. I'm lucky if I can get a magazine in.
I know.
It's like,
It's hard.
I
don't think I caught up in my reading until the time I broke my ankle a few years ago.
See, then you couldn't move.
Well, that it was that or TV,
yeah.
and you can only watch so much
yeah,
TV. So.
I don't even really have an opportunity to do that. I have a few favorite television shows, and of course they're all, like The Walking Dead and American Haunting and things of that nature. I like my...
You ever watch Celebrity Ghost Stories?
On occasion.
I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
I don't get that channel anymore. I've been cut off from all those spooky channels.
Oh, no fun.
Right?
But yeah, I don't know.
This is funny. I wish you guys could see this. What am I supposed to do with that?
That guy's begging over here.
I gotta tell you, it's like something out of that. What's that movie where the kid comes out of the well and she's like creeping?
The ring.
He's on the floor like The Ring, like this, pushing a little wine glass towards us, like we're gonna stop and fill it up for him.
Oh, he's taking the bottle. That can't be good. That can't be a good thing.
No. So, oh gosh, I forgot where we were. So yeah, Stephen King. I never got into The Shining. Everyone loved The Shining and thought it was the scariest thing.
Well,
I like
based on the Stanley Hotel, right? Stanley Hotel, super haunted hotel in Colorado.
Get the wine back. Okay.
Yay.
Well, maybe I'll appreciate it more. I didn't realize it's based on a true story.
No, not so much it's based on a true story, but Stephen King was at the Stanley Hotel, and he stayed in a haunted room, and he had a lot of experiences, so he wrote the book, and he based it on the surroundings of the Stanley Hotel. They do huge conferences there. It's a big ghostly tourist attraction. I mean, people come from everywhere to stay there, not just because it's the Shining Hotel, but because it's really haunted. And it's
have you been there?
I have not, but I've been invited to go, by the owners.
Wow.
Just kind of chatting back and forth a little bit, like, oh, you should come out and check it out. I'm like, it's on the bucket list, my haunted bucket list, absolutely. But of course, I've got other places that pull me to them, such as my upcoming trip to Romania, of course.
Yes, we're going to talk about that
Oh,
later.
we will. Best place ever, like Disneyland.
Oh my gosh. And you've been to Lilydale. We've talked about that in past shows.
Yeah, I go every year. I had a wonderful time in Lilydale. In fact, a friend of mine who is the historian at Lilydale, Mr. Ron Nagy, has written a few books. You find him at the museum when you go, and he's got books on consignment at the Spiritorium, and he was even gracious enough to sign them for everybody, which is really nice.
Wow.
And he will be coming in the spring to do a workshop on spoon bending and stuff like that, so it's going to be very, very cool. But Lilydale, I mean, I can never say enough about it. I think for mediums, it's like home.
Yeah,
It's where
sure.
it's where, you know, a lot
We're
of it
called
began
there.
on this side of the world.
Oh, I have to share something
Oh,
with Michelle.
all right, woohoo!
I finally got my passport.
There we go.
Now I can go.
Lilydale,
We're
here
gonna
we
go.
go. Road
We've been-
trip.
We've been talking about this,
Yep.
and now I can. Oh, this is great.
Road trip.
Yes,
sure.
for sure.
Yep.
I want to go there actually in the spring.
They open. Well, you can go.
June?
It
Is
is
it June?
open year round. But if you're going for any of their workshops and so on, all the mediums are actually there from the end of June up until the beginning of September.
Okay, it's a date.
Yeah. Well,
But September would be nice because I love that time of year.
they're done, I think, second weekend of September, and then a lot of the mediums leave again. But the Spiritualist Church is open, and of course they do.
I want to go to the Stump. You guys know about the
Inspiration
Stump?
Stump.
We've talked
Yes.
about that before. Maybe let them know a little bit about the Stump.
Inspiration Stump is basically like a vortex, and it's very powerful vortex. People come from all over, and they will place objects from loved ones, you know, that they want to communicate with. And Inspiration Stump is where they'll do usually a couple of daily readings. So the mediums come forth and everybody gathers, and they'll do form readings. They'll sit there and pick up on who they sense with you. It's really quite
It's
remarkable.
kind of like what John Edward does with the big crowd
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Exactly, but they do it at Inspiration Stump where the energy is just so full and
I
vibrant.
want to go.
It's
That
it's
is- you know
amazing,
what,
and
that
it's
is
old.
Disney for me.
It is. It's so old, and the energy when you walk through those doors, you can't even describe it. It's just so positive, and I come back and I feel so rejuvenated and so relaxed. You
My
know,
friend
then
just
the
went.
work starts.
My friend just went, and she said she came back and she felt a healing.
Yeah, well,
She felt it. She knew something had shifted within her just from being
they're
there.
healing. They have a healing temple. They do 2 or
Mm-hmm.
3 healings a day, and people who have had, you know, physical problems, or I like to go for relaxation. Like just get in there and just zap me one time and just kind of relax me, and it does. It really works. It's phenomenal, and you feel totally rejuvenated, completely relaxed, until life gets a hold of you again.
Yeah. Which
But
it
when you
does.
meet people at Lilydale, I mean, oh my goodness, the mediums are the most laid back people you'll ever meet. There's nobody uptight in that little town, let me tell you. Everybody's so calm and relaxed.
Well,
And that
they're
says
doing
something.
that energy work, right? If you're working.
Well, the
with
whole
that.
place is positive energy. People walk around, everybody's so calm
And that's
happy.
probably why you feel a difference when you
Oh,
leave, right? It just gets
absolutely.
rid of all that negative energy
Yeah,
and
draws it all out.
you leave feeling awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, gotta go.
Yes.
My sister's taking me for a trip, and I think she's hinted at Disney for a day, but Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And all I kept thinking was, I want to go to Lilydale. I mean, it really is the Disney for us, but
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
be in December, so that won't work out.
No, it is open year round. You just
I don't think she'll want to walk around Lilydale in the middle
it's
of
not that big. You can probably do it in like 2 hours.
Wow.
So we're gonna have a little road. We're gonna stop right here on a little road trip, and
But we could do it.
we could do it.
We
Yeah,
could pack a
it's an
lunch.
hour away. I mean, you spend more time at the border. Realistically, with no border time, I'm like an
yeah.
hour and 10 minutes. I'm
And I
there.
hear, do not tell people at the border that you're going to Lilydale.
Oh, they love it. They ask you where you're going. I tell them, and they're like, I had one border guy go, "Ooh, what is that? Is that like that psychic place?" Just like that. His little hands went up. I went, "Yes." Just like that, and he started to laugh. It was a lot of fun. Actually, they're so used to people going through. Mostly, if you go to the Fort Erie border, because from there you literally are only an hour. So if you're just saying, I would just maybe suggest I'm going to Fredonia, but right away I tried that, and they're like, "I mean, that place near that psychic place." Yeah, that's the one.
My friend Linda went through and she said Lilydale, they pulled her off to the side, literally stripped her car, ripped the seats out, everything, and kept her for 3 hours.
Oh, that's crazy. I've
and
never
when
had
she
that. I've
asked,
been to
they
Lilydale
said
many
that
times.
was why, because you said you were going to Lilydale. I don't get it.
Well, you just had a guy having a bad day. I've been to Lilydale several times, and okay, one time I was pulled over. You want to know why? It's a crazy story.
Were you stroking your skull?
Scully wasn't with me.
Okay.
But no, apparently a radiation leak occurred like before we even got there, and certain vehicles picked up the traces. I guess if you've got like a GPS or TVs or anything like that in your vehicle, I guess the LCD picks up somehow it imprints. So they pulled me over, and they said, well, where are you going? I said, Lilydale. They don't want to tell you why they're pulling you over.
Well, I guess not.
Then they asked the keys to the car, and I'm going, okay. And they went and they checked the flat screens, because I've got DVDs and I've got my GPS, and they checked and went, okay, you're good to go. They go, now you can go back and read palms. I said, oh, okay, I'm going palm reading, apparently. So, yeah, it was the craziest thing ever. I mean, they said the car with the radiation leak was over there, and I'm way over here. I'm like, well, how'd I get this far? But who knows?
Wow.
But I've never had a problem
Crazy.
going. Never.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, poltergeists. What do you know about poltergeists?
Self-induced. Basically, really more common with females. Either preteens, young teenagers, premenopausal females, people who are really stressed out. We can actually throw our energy. We can definitely project that. Poltergeist activity, many cases that are believed to be really bad hauntings, a lot of them end up being poltergeist activity. When everybody calms down in the house, especially like your teenage girls, because I know I had one, and she was like, oh my goodness, things that went on in the house, I knew it was her causing it.
Wow. So what are the symptoms? I mean, things being disappearing.
Well, poltergeist
things
is German
being
for
thrown.
noisy ghost, right? It's German for noisy spirit. And that's what they do. They knock on the walls. They can move, objects will move, scratching, just all the typical scary stuff, which people go in full-blown panic attack. My daughter used to call me, something is moving across the table, one of our statues. I'm going, all right. I said, what are you doing right now? Oh, I just got into a fight with, my friend. Stop it. Like, stop it, knock it off, calm yourself down, and things will stop. And it did.
Wow.
But we had spirits
We're so
in the house too.
powerful,
So.
we don't even know it.
Females
Some of us.
especially, because you know what?
Yes.
Like when we go through, I think I'm losing my ears. When we go through changes in our energy, our bodies. I mean, whether it be puberty or menopause, it's so drastic, and we're such emotional creatures that we really like throw our energy. I mean, we really let go. You don't hear about it as much with young guys, young boys.
Is
as
this
you do
people
females.
who, like, girls who keep it all inside? Because for me, I just literally
Ooh, I don't know about
throw
that.
something at Tech Guy and I feel better.
I know.
You know.
See, yeah. No, because I mean, my
I
daughter
don't really throw anything.
would, she would just be vocalize how she felt. But I think it's just her energy level would pick up, and everybody in the house would be like, gang away. I just waited for it. I just knew it was coming. I could tell when she got up in the morning, I'd go, ooh, it'll be one of those days. Yeah, so yeah, in fact, like one of the probably most famous cases in the United States from the 1800s, first documented cases, was the Bell Witch. The Bell Witch. And it was a movie made about it called An American Haunting. And it was about the Bell family. And
Yeah.
it was poltergeist.
That was Donald Sutherland,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Excellent movie.
It was a good movie.
It was. But
Really
it was
good.
based on the fact it was like poltergeist activity due to what was happening in the home.
I think we have Haunting in Connecticut, Tech Guy. We have a photo. Maybe we could show people the photo now, since we're talking about it. We caught him off guard.
Getting all comfy with it, the wines that he's doing.
It's a wine night. For those of you who are just joining us, you are with the Ask Your Angels talk show, and we're with Michelle DeRoche from Canada's Most Haunted. We're going to talk a little bit about what you do with your ghost tours and that for people who haven't seen our other shows. If you'd like to catch our other couple of shows with Michelle, we're on YouTube. So, did you get that photo up? No? It's the wine. Never feed your Tech Guy wine, right? Am I right?
Absolutely. But sometimes they're more fun when you feed them wine.
Okay, so Haunting in Connecticut. Do we have a photo? So, Haunting in Connecticut. The new film Haunting in Connecticut, which isn't that new, it's quite a few years old, right?
I think it's about 3 years old.
3 years old?
That particular one. There's a documentary that's considerably older, which I found to be a little bit more realistic than the movie, of course.
History tells the story of the Snedeker family. Am I saying that right?
Well, basically, they moved to a home that was, I mean, they were looking, their son was sick. They needed to get closer to a hospital where he was getting chemotherapy treatment, because the trek back and forth was really hard on the boy. And
we're not talking about the same story, are we?
Are we talking about the Haunting in Connecticut? I'm talking about the real Haunting in Connecticut.
Yes, we were just talking about the Donald Sutherland movie,
okay,
and I
was
just
asking me about him. Which story do you want? Work with me.
Okay, so we'll backtrack. I don't have a photo about the Bell Witch. So moving along, though.
Okay.
We'll talk about the Haunting in Connecticut since we're there. If you're going out for Halloween, you might want to maybe go to one of these houses for Halloween. Right?
To a haunted house?
Oh, sure. What better thing to do for Halloween?
Right? I completely agree. There's no better place I would rather be for Halloween than a haunted house all day long. So
tell us about the Haunting in Connecticut.
Okay. Well, as mentioned, they were looking for a place closer to the hospital. But being that, they maintained a home, they had to really watch the budget. So they found this amazing house. And when they got in there and rented it, because of course it was the only one that they could really find, and that would accommodate the family. And once they got in there and they started seeing all these crosses everywhere, and they were starting to, it showed signs that this was a funeral home. This was a funeral home. It was a funeral home.
Oh, okay.
It was beautiful. And then, of course, they found the embalming room downstairs. So they thought they could seal it off and kind of keep it from the boys. But it wasn't long before they figured it out, because they were getting visitations. Because they put the boys' rooms or beds in the basement.
Oh.
Well, the one boy wanted his room in the basement, hence across from the embalming room. And he was getting visits almost instantly, and his health was deteriorating. So he was eventually moved out of the home and started to get better. But things in the home started to get worse. So they initially brought in Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they're the same people famous for the Amityville Horror Haunting and many others. And she essentially, they started picking up on what was there, and they ended up, I think, having an exorcism done on the home. So, I mean, it's always controversial when you talk about things like that. But the movie was made. Of course, movies are always more dramatic, and they're nothing like the real story.
I think it sounds pretty dramatic, being in the basement in near an embalming room. I was scared sleeping in the basement of my mom's house. I mean, and that wasn't a funeral home. Basements are creepy.
Yeah.
Not for you. We had a heater that used to make a clanking noise all the time. I was really scared down there. I hated it.
Yeah. I know. I had my room in the basement. I really enjoyed it. So, I don't know. I guess it's to each his own, But it was definitely an interesting story. And, it rivaled the Amityville Horror for sure, which, again, another controversial. They're both kind of controversial stories, but in the same respect, like, you can't please everybody. You can only really believe the people who were there and who lived it.
Yeah. Now, the Amity, before we go there, Lorraine, you're going to be meeting Lorraine, aren't you?
I've met Lorraine.
Okay.
I have met Lorraine. She's a lovely, lovely, lovely lady. She's always been a mentor to me as being one of the first females in research, in spirit research. But realistically, she's, paranormal royalty, Love her, don't love her. I mean, you can't deny the fact that she's and her family have really sacrificed a lot, helping so many people. I mean, my goodness, they've been through so much, and they've had a lot happen to them, because of being in that field. And I mean, the woman is in her 70s. I mean, she's exceptional. She is still working, and she's still helping people.
Wow, that's obviously her calling.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, for sure. She's just an amazing lady.
So the Amityville Horror, of course they made the famous movie about it, but did they not prove that was a hoax?
a lot went down with that movie. I had the privilege of, I went to the Toronto International Film Festival last night with a friend of mine, and we saw the debut of the documentary called My Amityville Horror, and it was by Daniel Lutz. Daniel was the oldest boy in the Lutz family, and you could visibly see this guy had major issues. I mean, he's in counseling, he's been through a lot of counselors. He goes, I wish they'd let me tell my story as a kid. He goes, because boy, did I have stories. The problem is that George wasn't, like the stepfather, wasn't overly credible, because a lot surfaced, you know, that people, it has, you know, they brought up more questions. He just left more questions. Daniel filled in a lot of those blanks in the documentary, and I don't want to give it away, but I really say, you know, if you're curious about it, definitely watch it, because it did not appear to me like a guy who had nothing better to do than make up stories. This guy, you could tell, had been through a lot, and it messed him up. It messed him up huge. And he's got a lot of issues because of it, and he'll be the first to tell you he's got a lot of issues because of it. But things went down in that house, and they went down in that house long before the Lutz family got in there. I mean, when Ronald DeFeo, you know, killed 6 members of his family, he was in an interview where he finally admitted that, yeah, he heard the voices, but his sister was also instrumental in helping. As things kind of, through the years passed, it was discovered that they were both into the occult and things like that.
So they opened a portal, probably.
They opened a portal, it's believed, and George Lutz was also into the occult. And Daniel seems to think that, and people who were like writers and reporters seem to think that George bought the house knowing full well about the murders and thought it would be
haunted, most likely.
And yeah, power thing, and you know what I mean? Like, I mean, Daniel claims that he was able to even like move objects, like heavy objects, just mentally. Like he says, I saw it. And he goes, and there's a doctor out there, a psychiatrist, goes, it's in his files. Because I was like disturbed over it, because my mother and I, we were told nothing about this man and what he was like, and he didn't have any parenting skills, he wasn't a very nice man. And with that said, of course, you know, they figured that George just enhanced things and made it that much worse. Sure, there have been 5 families that lived in there since the Lutz family left. But it's like Lorraine said, she goes, the home has been exorcised. Of course nothing is going to be in it. So again, you know, make of it what you want. I think anybody who's closed-minded enough to think that these things aren't out there, you know, I mean, I welcome a good skeptic any day. I prefer an open-minded skeptic who at least leaves room for possibilities with proper research. Closed-minded is, well, you know what, like, no, there's nothing. But then they believe in nothing. So, you know,
how do you prove something like that if you weren't there? I mean, how can you actually, for them to say it's a hoax when they weren't living it?
Because, you know, you're looking at the family who started out very, very slowly not wanting to talk about it. I mean, they literally had to track them down. But then in the same respect, they go public. They say it's because, well, too much misinformation has been given, the movie is wrong, you know, they made it, things that didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. But then again, what kind of parent would involve their kids and throw them into the media? You know, it was too much of a circus, and I think had it been handled differently, maybe it would have been a little bit more credible. But listening to Daniel, I mean, first of all, I trust Lorraine wholeheartedly. You know, I mean, she's been through too much. She sacrificed too much to just say, you know, like, yeah, it happened when it didn't happen. You know, it's not like she gets paid to do any of this.
No.
Okay? Like, this isn't like a big money machine, people. You know, the woman gives a lot of her time. She lives in a tiny little house. I mean, she's not living high off the hog here, okay? She's a very humble lady. And, you know, listening to Daniel's story and seeing the pain in his eyes and in his face, you feel it. I don't know. I can't see it not being real. Right? Well, it's not even just that. You're never going to find definitive proof. Let's face it.
Because you weren't there.
And again, not even just that. The fact is that's why it's paranormal. Nobody has the answers. We get close to maybe finding some answers. Is it definitive? No. we're not really ever going to know till we get there ourselves, okay? When you kick off and go to the next level, well, great. You know, but
Are you
until that
giving out
happens,
toe tags at the end of the show?
I might be. I'm
All
getting there.
right.
I'm getting there. See me getting all worked up? A few people with their toe tag, their names on those toe tags.
Well, Michelle knows what she's talking about because she lives this every day. And Michelle works with, or you're co-founder of Canada's Most Haunted, and goes out on ghost tours. And speaking of ghost tours, what day are we doing this? Friday, November 16th for anyone in the GTA area. We are, Burlington actually, are having a ghost walk tour. We're raising funds for a little boy with autism. His name's Dorian, so he can go to a special needs school. Patrick Cross and Michelle were nice enough to help with that. So if you'd like to get involved, if you'd like to make a donation, if you'd like to join us, we would love that. Please visit or contact me if you're interested, Christine at askyourangels.ca. So just to give you an idea, it's $15 per adult, or it's $40 for a family of 4. Very safe for kids, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Burlington Ghost House has never had tours that were not family friendly. We cater to families because even the website is very child friendly. You don't have to worry about the kids going on it and, you know, and getting bad content or getting frightened. It's all very, very simple, and it's all very, very friendly. So
And I
the
love
tours
great
are-
history. Like, I've been on it. It's really great. And I didn't make it as far as the cemetery, but I hear
It was a rainy night, and
Yeah,
the
oh
cemetery
my
is
gosh.
pretty cool.
I was
Absolutely.
drenched. You remember that?
I
That's
do.
when I first met Michelle in
Yeah.
person, and I didn't bring an umbrella, and halfway through I was literally soaked, and I started getting those warm chills, and I'm like, I think I gotta go. I missed the fun apparently because I've heard a lot of great feedback about going through St. Luke's Cemetery. We actually have some photos. The tour starts at Emma's back porch.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a photo up of Emma's back porch. Is there anything you can tell us? I know Patrick normally does that.
Emma has roughly about 8 different spirits that have been spotted in there. A lot of the mediums that come on the tour seem to pick up the same things. Are they all grounded? No, there'd be no reason for that to happen. The children kind of stay behind. Emma has 2 children there that stay behind, I think, because Mom is there.
Okay.
But she's not grounded. She's there in visitation a lot too. A lot of experiences that happen there. People getting touched. People see, have actually run into Emma, not only on the stairs going up into the main restaurant upstairs, which used to be the family's home and living quarters, but in the bathrooms downstairs. She's been spotted. People just come out of the stall. There she is. It's like, oh, this is great.
Is that the ladies' room or the men's room?
Ladies' room.
Oh, that's good.
Toilet paper spin. I've had a lot of personal experiences there myself, so it's a really great place to start.
And she died, was it falling down the stairs?
At her home on Martha Street, not in the building at all. She hadn't lived there. The place had long been sold. In fact, when she passed, though, they did have her wake in the basement there, and there was like over 400 people that came even back then. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's a great building. Just my ears. There you go.
Okay,
Like
so
my little tuft on my ears. Look at that.
that's so cute.
Isn't that
That's-
cute?
It's
Yeah.
very cute. It's not as cute as my hat,
I
but
like your
it's
hat.
cute. Thanks.
Witchy woman. Here we go.
Yes. Okay, so it starts at Emma's back porch, and
Yes.
it goes all through downtown Burlington.
Mhm.
I've lived here for a long time, and I didn't realize all those little, behind all the little stores, there's like a little courtyard. It's
The
so
village square.
pretty.
The village square is kind of like Burlington's hidden gem.
Yeah, I
It-
didn't
it
even know
really
it was
is.
there.
No, and it's beautiful. It's all cobblestone, and it's got beautiful gazebo in the center, and it's got all these tiny little stores, and it's really quite remarkable. And it's quite haunted. Absolutely. I mean, we get tons of stories. In fact, they used to have night security who would walk around all the time. And when the tour would come around, they would join in the tours and give us more stories. Now, of course, it's all cameras. There's no more night men. They were having a hard time keeping them.
I wonder why. And then
Dream job. I don't know what their deal was, but, whatever.
and then it ends up at St. Luke's Cemetery. We have a
St. Luke's is
photo.
one of our locations as well. Yes, yes. It's very old, established 1834. The land was donated to the city by Elizabeth Brant Kerr. Elizabeth was the daughter of Joseph Brant and the sister of John Brant, who was very instrumental, along with her husband James Kerr, in the battle over by
Oh my
Queenston
gosh.
Heights in
James
1812.
Street, Kerr Street, Brant Street, Joseph Brant Hospital.
Caroline
Caroline,
Street, that's one of
the
his
daughters?
Yeah, and then
Oh,
Elizabeth, and a lot of the streets,
Elizabeth
John Street. Yeah, a lot of them
all
were
the
named
little
after the Brant
streets.
family. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
See? Martha Street. What about that one? Which one's
Um,
going Martha?
no, Martha's over, I think, going crisscrossing
Okay.
the other way.
I'm just
further
curious because I think it was it Martha Street that I had the accident? Was that Elizabeth? No, it was Martha. Pretty sure.
down. Martha's
I
not
actually
near
took out a
Elizabeth.
fire hydrant. Yeah, I flooded the whole area. I just don't want any ghosts mad at me, you know.
Sorry,
So if you see any ghosts,
Who takes out a fire hydrant? Do you have something against it, or?
no, I got hit by a taxi and he spun
Okay,
me.
so
and
it was
I went
his
into
fault.
that.
Okay.
Well, not exactly,
No,
but
was
we
it?
won't
Okay.
talk about it. Well, you know, to me, there should have been, it's a four-way. It should have been a
Yeah.
four-way with stop signs, and I'm sure that I looked. I'm over precautious.
Right.
I know you're disbelieving. I see that
No,
face.
because
But I'm so over.
Not
I'm-
to be stereotypical about taxi drivers, but they're often very much in a
He
rush.
came out of nowhere. He came out of nowhere, and he was going to hit the side where my kid was in a car seat.
Yeah, not cool.
This was quite a few years ago, and
Yeah.
I literally slammed my foot down on the accelerator
Mhm.
to get out of his path to save my kid. And he
Mm-hmm.
hit the back of the van, and I went spinning and. ADM, it's a twister! No. And then I went flying across
Yeah.
the street right into the fire hydrant. So, yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's really the only way you're going to meet those really cute Burlington firefighters. Yeah, girls got to do what she's got to do.
Some
So-
are cute. My luck, I get one of the ugly ones. Near retirement.
What do you do? Hey,
Yeah.
you're not on my calendar.
That's right. Send me a
What's
cute
up
guy.
with that?
Forget the jaws of life. Bring me back a cute guy, then you can. So, right. I know.
You're so funny.
I feel you.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, well, so we have the photo of the cemetery. So, anyway, we hope you can join us on the Ghost Walk. We'd love to hear from you. By the way, you guys are so quiet tonight. I know I'm not on regularly, and it is a special, but if you're out there, please chat in. We would love to hear from you. And you also do tours at Casa Loma.
Mhm.
We have a photo of Casa Loma. We're keeping Tech Guy real busy tonight.
It looks impressed. Yeah, Casa Loma is the crown jewel of Toronto, as I like to say. And it's also recently been dubbed the People's Castle. Because I think with the city of Toronto now operating it, there's a lot of to do about it. So what are we going to do with this castle? Do we close it down? They've been doing a lot of public meetings and trying to get public appeal as to what they would like to see done with Casa Loma. And the uproar has just been phenomenal. People are like, this is the people's castle. You don't have the right to just...
beautiful.
Well, it is, but you know what? The maintenance is huge.
Oh,
Now, I mean, you know, there's so many programs running through it. I am told we are their largest and most successful program. We pack the house at close to, 100 people a night when we do them. There's going to be a lot more of that coming. I've been promised a couple of overnighters, so those will be a little bit more detailed, geared more to, I think, researchers who really want to be in there overnight. You know, food will be served, we'll have drinks, things like that, just to keep people going overnight, because it's very important that the castle generate that income. It is its own entity, meaning it's its own corporation as well. And aside from any of the other museums in Toronto, Castle Imperial funds herself. Like, she's able to maintain herself more so than many of the others. So
And they have weddings there too, don't they?
Oh my goodness, they'll have weddings there. Absolutely, have many functions there.
But people don't stay overnight. Like, is it?
No, it's not a hotel.
And
or
I guess
anything
they
like that.
can't. There's just too much talk about things that go on. Is that why? 'Cause-
I don't know so much that, but I mean, it's very expensive to keep it running. I mean, it could cost you close to $1,000 just to turn the lights on for the night. You know what I mean? Like, we're
Okay.
talking a big building. But realistically, no, people would love to get in there overnight for its spirit residence, of course.
Mhm.
So, she's very vocal. The spirits have a lot to say. There've been a lot of sightings. We've had 100 people a night in there who get like amazing experiences.
They film shows there too, right?
A lot of movies been filmed there. The Pacifier. In fact, the only time Casa Loma's...
The Pacifier was at Casa Loma?
Yeah. The
I love
swimming
that
pool.
movie. That was fun.
The swimming pool, which has never been completed, never had water in it. They put water in it one time, and it was for the sewer scene that Vin Diesel was trudging through.
Oh,
That was in our swimming
wow.
pool. X-Men was filmed there. The Love Guru. Tons of movies have been filmed
Being
there.
Erica?
Tons of them.
That's a show, but Being Erica
Yeah.
was there too.
Oh, tons. They just did a mini-series upstairs, not in the main house, but in the stables. It just totally transformed it to a different world. And I thought it was going to be a mini-series called Poe, but I'm starting to wonder if it ended up being the movie The Raven. Because, of course, you know, we've got paparazzi'd all over the set, right? Everybody's gone, yeah? Cameras! Right? I mean, come on, you don't put me on an Edgar Allan Poe set. And don't think I'm not going to completely indulge in the scenery. Hello. So, yeah.
I've got my embalming tool.
Exactly. I don't even need that. Give me the Raven. Where's the Raven? That's all I wanted. But, so, yeah, it was very cool. I got to sit in a cool chair with the Raven. And, yeah, it was amazing. And I've been there countless times while productions are going on during the day. I pull up one day, I had to do one of the school groups, and I'm looking up in the tower, and there's this man hanging off the tower. I'm going, seriously? Are we fixing things again? And I got this just, no, it's a movie. This guy's dangling out the side of the tower in a harness, right? I'm like, well, that's dangerous.
Do you know what movie it was?
I don't offhand know what the movie is. It's something like...
Mission Impossible. Was it Tom Cruise?
No, because I'd probably try to chuck him
Scale
over the
the wall?
side if it was. No,
No?
I'm not a Tom Cruise
No.
fan. Sorry, Tom Cruise, but no, really not. But no, it had something to do, it was called something human instrument, like mystical human instrument, something crazy along those lines, but it looks like it's gonna be kind of interesting, judging by what the read-up was at the time, but they do a lot of that, so yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
Yeah. And another place you're going is the haunted Romanian forest. We have a picture of that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to Romania, and I'm going with 2 of my team members from Canada's Most Haunted, so it's kind of play and it's kind of work. I'm going to be picking up, you know, stuff for the Spiritorium, oddities from, you know, the castles and the haunted forest. I can't say much more than that. And of course, on behalf of Canada's Most Haunted, the plan will be to rent space at Honduras Castle, Bran Castle. I will plan on visiting Snagov Monastery because, you know, anybody knows me knows that I'm a Vlad Dracul, you know, fiend. One of my favorite oddities, so I'm stroking her hair again, one of my favorite oddities...
She's stroking the skull again.
...is, I think macabre, I don't get all excited. Anyway, with that said, I bought a box, a silver box from a museum in Romania, and it has soil from Vlad Dracula's grave.
Oh, you told me that.
Yeah. So I had a hard time getting it out of the country, of course, because it is soil, and their concern, of course, is bugs and things like that. But it had been in a museum for 30 years, so they let it go with proper documentation, which was great because, you know, it's nice to have all that extra documentation to validate what it is. So I plan on going and collecting a few more things.
So
and
what do you do with this
is
soil? Is this for one of those little boxes you have on your desk with the rake? You know those businessmen when they're bored they kind of rake the little...
No, it's actually pretty charged energy in there, so I just leave it put away. It is a pretty active piece, and it is just put away. I've actually parted out with a few samples of it to a friend of mine. Well, Christopher Moon is a good friend of mine for fundraising for Haunted Times magazine. So I sent him a couple of vials of it with photos and copies of the documentation. You know, I'm a bit of a odd fish myself, so I always keep some near and dear to me. I have a little urn about this big on my keychain that I always keep. It gives me a little boost of energy every now and then. But
oh, you gotta show them what I call the earrings.
oh,
You have to share that. This is so cool.
what did I do with them?
Oh, no. Oh, good. She didn't have to
I almost
be
left them
embalming kit.
behind. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that would have been creepy. I'm glad you
Well,
found
you
them.
could have made earrings.
No, as much as I think that they would make really nice earrings, it would be kind of weird.
Well, these came to me by a friend of mine, Trevor
Are those
Bishop.
sapphires? Those are gorgeous.
I'm not really sure. I don't think they're sapphires. They're black, maybe like onyx.
Are they? So I think they're
And-
sapphires. They look blue to me.
Oh, I don't know. They look black to
Do
me.
you need
Black
a
and
closer
blue, I don't
visual?
know.
Here, just
But a friend of mine, Trevor Bishop, actually works
They
at
do
a
look
location where it's a coin place, basically. And every now and then they get different type of things. But they never have pieces like this. So within 2 days apart, they actually got 2 identical pieces in. And they're from the very early 1800s. And they were literally just within a couple of years apart as far as the inscriptions on the back. They do contain human hair. Because back in the day, it wasn't uncommon when somebody passed away to take their hair and make jewelry out of it. Like, they would braid bracelets, they would put them in boxes, they would, put them in, like I say,
there's
in pendants.
actually a place now. I've read it was quite a few
Thank you.
years ago, but they're doing it still, putting it in rings.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, that's just creepy. But I didn't realize it goes that far back.
It absolutely does, yeah. Yeah, I had a beautiful box that I had that it had a ringlet of hair that was in there with the little curling tools, and it was a little mortuary box, and I gave it to a friend
How
of
do
mine.
you sleep at night? I mean, really?
I don't know. This stuff doesn't really
Maybe
bother
that
me.
last time you were here, the tornado touched down between Cambridge and Burlington. Maybe it wasn't a tornado we heard while we were down here.
Yeah.
Crash
I
bang.
just conjured it up, and But yeah, so I'm looking forward to bringing back some more interesting pieces from Europe. And the Haunted Forest is one, of course, that my one girl, Adriana, is actually Romanian. Her family lives in Romania, so we're staying with family. And it's okay, we're going to go camp at the Haunted Forest. And she looked at me like I had 2 heads. She goes, "What do you mean?" "I mean, we're going to go camping in the Haunted Forest." And she says,
Is
"Are
there
you
camping?
trying to kill me?" Yeah. No, there is not camping. The Haunted Forest has been filmed all of 3 times professionally, and it's been by the university in Romania. And Destination Truth went in there on 2 different occasions because of the amount of stuff that happened to them. But both times they brought the university in for them to do the filming. There's an area within the forest where nothing grows. Birds apparently don't even fly over it. It's just really, they catch UFOs and things like that, allegedly. The locals will tell you. But people have been known to go into the forest, commit suicide, things like that. It's very, very active. And even, like I said, Destination Truth. I mean, there's literally a clip of this guy sitting there by himself in the circle, and you see him going airborne and being pulled back. And he'd gotten scratched. So they invited him back the second time to conquer his fear. Poor guy got it again, right? So, yeah. So, of course, after that I went, yeah, that's on the to-do list. So, absolutely.
Wow.
Without a doubt, we're doing the forest. For sure.
Well, Halloween's coming.
Yes.
So cemeteries are obviously a creepy place for people to go. Not you, I know, but for most people, they're creepy. I just found out, and I have never seen it, that we have a really old cemetery in Burlington. We have a picture, and I know I've screwed up your number sequence there, Tech Guy, but it's the one with the big gate. It's very creepy looking, and apparently we have a big, we have IKEA, Sears, Fortino, so it's one of those outdoor complexes. It's quite big. This thing is supposedly right behind it.
It's right on Plains Road in front of all of it.
In front of it.
So just before you turn right to go into the IKEA Plaza Fortinos,
Yeah.
it can be like parked right beside it and staring right at it. It's right at the road.
I go
You
there
can't get
all
in.
the time.
You can't get in. It's the gates are locked. Actually, we have a friend of ours whose brother is buried there as well. So it's got a few newer.
And you
I mean, this is
can't get
30
in.
years ago, mind you.
It's from the what?
Well, you can if you want to
1800s?
like scale the wall.
So it's
Wanna
it's a
try?
closed off. No.
It is. But when Doors Open, Burlington does their Doors Open event in, I think it's June, they open it up for people to go in and have a look.
Really? Okay, then I'll go. If there's a crowd
Yeah.
of people, I will go.
It's open during the day. How bad could it be?
I pick up on things though,
I know,
so
you
I'm
do,
always
yes.
a bit nervous, you know.
But you pick up on it during the day and at night. A haunting isn't just a haunting at night, it's a haunting all the time.
No, I realize, but
Yeah.
I'm better at accepting it during the day. Did we get a photo with the creepy gates? I saw this photo and this is so scary. And I can't believe it's so close. Can you tell people when you take photos, we have another one of a cemetery, I think, Brett, that has orbs. I've marked it orbs. So what can you tell us about orbs? I'm going to backtrack a bit. Canada's Most Haunted is on Facebook. So if you'd like to hear stories like this, really scary books, all sorts of topics on the paranormal, you've got to go on Facebook and find Canada's Most Haunted. It's incredible. So,
thanks. But we really welcome other people's input as far as, like I say, you'll see people advertising books, you advertise your events. It's Canada's Most Haunted. We are a fully legal company, but in the same respect, we are very very community oriented. I mean, Canada's Canada. Most Haunted involves many different areas, and we really promote that. Even people, I've got colleagues in the UK, in the States. I mean, it gives the people a chance in Canada to see what's going on in other places that maybe they can travel to and visit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No, it's great. It's got so much info. I don't know if you happen to notice this, because I'd sent you an email and I said, check out my post on Facebook of my son's birthday party. Did you ever see that photo? I took a photo in the family room, and there's two. They look like orbs.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, are those orbs? They look like orbs. You didn't get a chance to look at it.
I go by my phone most of the time, and I don't get it. It's harder for me to get to pages unless you link it directly into the message. It's tough because I'm on my phone.
I keep forgetting I can do that.
How many times do you text me? I'm driving. You get one word answer. It's still driving. Still driving. At a light.
Yeah.
I try to do a manic message. Put it back. And yeah. Orbs tend to be very controversial in the paranormal world. Being, not that there are no true spirit orbs, because there definitely, I believe, there are. I believe spirits can manifest in many ways, and who am I to be arrogant enough to say, no, absolutely not, this is not even a thing that is even remotely possible. I don't like to think I'm that arrogant. I believe that anything's possible. But other things can portray orbs. Dust, pollen, moisture, insects. I mean, there's so many other variables.
We do have a lot of dust in that room.
But sometimes it's a matter of how the camera catches, a certain angle. It might reflect light. It might do different things. I mean, there's so many variables.
They seem to have, some of them have like, orbs, if you're not familiar with orbs, it's like a circular ball of light.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look, some have patterns.
Some are said to have faces. There was some captured on the Ghost Walk years ago. And there was a series of 3 photos taken. And there was an eye in the orbs. And in each photo, the eye was doing something different. Closed, open, partial closed. It was just bizarre.
Right.
So of course, things get sent to us. We sent them off and had them looked at. And the photographer kind of looked at it and goes, can't explain it. But again, it's one of those things, like you can't...
It's whether you just believe it or not.
You know what? I think the thing with the paranormal is half the fun is trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
For me, it's the excitement of just trying to look for other answers,
It's
trying to get a
rush.
tool to kind of go, let's see what this does, getting something out of it. Like voices, to me, voice recordings, I love doing voice recordings. And having mediumship abilities myself, I've always been taught to just go with what I feel. But I'm finding I'm not really having fun with that anymore. Because I'm really enjoying more the hands-on. Not that I don't trust in my ability, I absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
I like it better when I can be validated.
Yeah.
But there's something about picking up a voice that's just coming from beyond.
Oh, that would be thrilling. It's like the White Noise movie, right?
Well, all those recordings came from the American, I think, paranormal, what do they call the EVP? American EVP Research Society, something along those lines. And
So
they're
the
all real
voices in that movie were actually real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. Like
That
when
was
you
so
hear
cool.
one, you're kind of like, bloody amazing, you know. But again, it just still, you have to look at it as something that, is it 100%? No, nothing's 100%. So it's paranormal.
Yeah. I believe in that, though.
Oh, I've seen things that happen that I can't explain.
I do. You know, I grew up watching scary movies. I watched all the, you know, Halloween. What's the one where they go to camp? Friday the 13th was the scariest. When I was a teen... Well,
me, it was Hellraiser.
I won't say how old I was.
Those shows that freaked me out.
I almost let it go.
Craziness, those Hellraiser series.
They were...
Wes Craven,
oh, they were so scary. I remember seeing that movie, and I went to see it with my girlfriend.
Hellraiser?
No, Friday the 13th.
Oh, I like
and we
Friday.
were terrified walking home. It was dark. We were walking home, terrified. Just, you know, we go up. We're upstairs. I'm staying over, so we're upstairs in her room, and she's on the second floor. And all of a sudden, I hear scraping on the window. I literally jump off the bed. I hit the floor. I'm screaming. And she, you know, she's all like, oh, geez, you know, she goes downstairs outside. Her dad had a ladder up against the house and had climbed up the ladder to scare us. Nice guy, right?
You get the full effect of the movie that way.
Oh, my gosh. So
I'd have been like,
I remember she had this stupid stuffed banana. Who has a stuffed banana? But anyway, we slit its throat. We poured ketchup on it. We kept the knife in there. We put it outside his door, and we made one of those, you know, those things out of the newspaper with the letters.
Right.
It said, "You're next." It was a scary night, but anyway, see, you don't mess with me.
She'll slit your bananas throat. That's right. That's right. Lock up your bananas. Oh. That's right.
You were so funny. So, how are we doing for time?
Would you like me to show you the picture of the orbs? Because I never did.
Yeah. You got it? Let's see the orbs.
There is the picture of the orbs. Excuse me while I move some dust.
Touche.
Well, I think that's it. We were going to tell some ghost stories, but we don't have any.
My life is a ghost story, okay? Like, I get crazy cases. I get visits all the time. I don't need to make up stuff. I got my own stuff.
But there's a confidentiality issue that I was not aware of. So,
yeah,
I said, Michelle, come on the show and let's tell ghost stories. And then Michelle's, well, I have them, but I can't really discuss them.
Some I have permission to discuss, but we've discussed them so many times. Or I think on past shows.
Did on past shows.
Other shows or other ones that were confidentiality exist because they're still kind of pending and ongoing. Usually people relax once the cases have been done. They're, you know what? Yes, tell our story. Of course, no names or locations mentioned, because they really feel that if somebody else can learn from their experience,
then it was worth
having
to go through it.
Yeah, they don't like to see families going through that. So, but again, when you're still going through it, because I do have new ones that I'm still kind of working on, and until they're done, you know, but the family's still going through it. So it's really difficult to come out and say, hey, here's a great Halloween story. It's just not cool. So. But the other ones, like I say, you know, I've discussed many times with you with permission from the families, and you know, it's an ongoing thing. It's just, you know, anybody who says, you know, that spirits on average can't hurt you, or I don't know that I believe that. I've just encountered too many people who've had claims of being pushed down the stairs, being scratched, being slapped. I mean, I don't know. If they can do that, I mean, and if they can pick up an object, then they say they can't hurl it across the room at you and full force throttle you with it. You know, like, I really, really don't know that I agree, you know, with people who basically say, oh, ghosts can't hurt you. Well, you know, maybe most can't, and maybe it is the really extreme cases, but the fact is there are some of those extreme cases out there, and it can happen.
I read on America's, like, you want to see America's, why is that most haunted? What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
It's America's Funniest Home Videos. Okay.
Well, that's close.
No. Wait, The wine was your idea. It's not my fault.
Sorry. It's a prerequisite of my being here. Any radio interview. Sorry.
Well, we're getting in the Halloween mood, right? So it's color blood. That guy's looking at us like, okay, wrap it up. But anyway, I read on Facebook. I love Facebook. I live on Facebook. But anyway, Michelle, your friend Michelle had posted a while back that they just moved into this new house and that she saw her first apparition and the covers, I think it was pulling the covers really tight and she screamed and her boyfriend didn't see it, or she asked you what should she do. She lit some white candles and asked her angels to clear it.
Do you remember what I said?
I
tell you how many messages I get?
Well, this is why I brought it up, because I think at that point you were saying, and I could be wrong, but I think at that point you were saying, I don't think it could hurt you.
Yeah,
because people in life,
Well, they claimed, I think it went a step further. Didn't they say they felt it was a woman, an older woman, or something that they...
Well, not in that particular one.
That might have been
it could have been...
I get a lot of times they'll inbox me separately.
Oh, okay.
And you really have to feel your way around what their story is, what they're telling you, because on average, if somebody says to me, well, I woke up at the end of the bed, there was like an elderly lady standing there, well, I don't think you got too much to worry about, because it is...
Unless she's holding a knife or,
Well, sure, or standing right over you or something, but no, you know what, because I think, if I vaguely remember that frame, somebody went in there and said, be careful, because, it can hurt you, this and that, and the first thing I try to do is take panic away, you know what I mean, because when I read it, you kind of get a feel for it. I'm like, no, this doesn't sound malevolent. It sounds like sure could freak you out. A lot of times you could hurt yourself. You're getting freaked out a lot more than something actually coming out and hurting you.
It could just be playful too, right?
Well, that and the fact that we panic. When we panic, we dart around, we fall, we do crazy things. And a lot of injuries happen more with us injuring ourselves out of fear. You have to understand, when I say something can hurt you, I'm talking the extremist of extreme cases, First of all, hauntings on an average, can vary. A lot of times they can be easily explained away. Something as simple as a carbon monoxide detector, which is always part of our investigative kit. Because if you have, especially in old houses, you can have like a slow onset of carbon monoxide detector or coming out of, let's say, an old furnace, that's going to make you hallucinate. High levels of EMF at old wiring in old houses, it's going to make you hallucinate. You know what I mean? Like limestone under the property. There's all kinds of things. Yeah. And so, some things can be explained away. But something is making that person believe that they're being victimized in one way or another. And it has to be handled very delicately and with a lot of respect. So we go in and we try to figure out what that is. And with that said, of course, most of the time, it's not what people say or what people think that it is. But in those other cases, yeah, it is. And a lot of people, surprisingly, don't necessarily want to get rid of what's there. They just want to know who it is. And they end up coexisting quite nicely.
If it's friendly.
Absolutely.
We had a ghost in our house growing up. It was, the house was being built, though. Like, it was a brand new house.
So it was land related.
It must have been land related, but it didn't worry us. It was a friendly ghost. We don't know 100% it was a ghost, but we always joked that, it's the ghost going to the bathroom again, because the toilet would flush by itself periodically, like once a day, out of the blue. And that was our standing joke. It was like, oh, well,
There he goes again.
There it is again.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's not always, I've worked many cases where people coexist with their spirit family quite nicely. And I think a lot of times we've been able to ease hauntings just by making the spirit aware of the fact, because sometimes they don't know they're dead, and it's a matter of saying, hello, I can't hear you, I can't see you, and I don't have that ability, you're dead. And sometimes it's like, revelation, I am dead, but it is just saying, well, for example, I'll use Fred as an example. Fred comes in here every day, says good morning, he's getting quite perturbed, he's not getting an answer. Then saying to Fred, you are dead, they can't hear you, they can't see you, they're not being rude. but would you please just say good morning to Fred when you come in the morning, just for argument's sake? All right. You know, sometimes it's little things, but spirits do things to get attention, to make their presence known.
Right.
And once the
'cause
presence
they think
is
you're
known,
ignoring them.
exactly. It could be something that simple.
That makes sense. My
It's
kids
a
do
theory,
that.
right? There you go. Mummy, 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 mummy. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Somebody online just typed, I have a group in Ontario called Niagara Paranormal Investigations.
Welcome.
Anybody you know?
No, I can't say
No.
that's, no, unfortunately.
Well, we're
sorry.
thrilled you're watching.
But I mean, you know what? I go more by names, not so much by organizations. I have a lot of people who Facebook me or who are Facebook friends, but I don't necessarily know which organizations that they belong to unless they promote themselves to me, so I get to know who they are. So I could say, welcome, thank you for joining us, and make your presence known. Like, feel free to go on Facebook and message me, or drop a line on Canada's Most Haunted or Burlington Ghost Walks, and let me get to know who you are, because we allocate a lot of cases out.
Yeah.
Because we get so overwhelmed, and I really don't do cases myself anymore unless they're really malevolent, because a lot of people either don't want to do them, are leery about doing them, or will admit I don't have the experience to do them. So I will concentrate more on the ones that really need my attention. And when I get cases where people are like, I just really would like to get to know more about spirits in the house.
You'll pass
Which
on.
area are you calling from? Then I like to get to know. I've had a lot of groups reach out to me where I've gotten to know them, and then I'm thinking, okay, perfect. Here's a group in this area that can help you. I'm happy to. You know what I mean?
Because I learned this from our past show, that you are totally at ease with bad spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
She's like, whatever.
I think, what, a lot of it is here. I really believe that a lot of it can be power of suggestion. Acknowledgement is empowerment. I was raised to not feel that way, to not give them that. It's not that I don't get on edge. It's not that I don't get startled like everybody else. I'm not like, like Wonder Woman or anything by any means. But
But you have the little cat ears.
I have the ears.
Doesn't Wonder Woman?
I do.
Oh no,
I
that's
got my little-
Catwoman.
I got my little
Never
toe.
mind.
But my alfalfa thing. But with that said, I'm just raised to be very comfortable with it, and to not give them the edge. Doesn't mean I don't feel it inside people. I feel it. I feel like everybody else. But I just won't go there. I just won't go there in my head.
Which is
Might
why
be
you
shaking
do
in my
what you
boots,
do.
but I won't go there in my head. Right. Yeah. So, absolutely.
So if anyone's having any kind of paranormal activity and you need some help, contact Michelle. Would you like to give them your contact info?
Well, you can catch me at a few sites, actually. You can catch me at canadasmosthaunted.com, which is a new website, burlingtonghostwalks.com, which is a new website. The old website's burlingtonghostwalks.ca. Spiritorium.com, you can reach me on that. Find me on Facebook, find me on Twitter, find me on LinkedIn, find me on, oh my goodness, I think I'm just about everywhere. I'm on Skype,
everywhere.
I'm easily found, and if it's something that I can't accommodate you with, like I said, I'm happy to allocate you to some other colleagues. So, I have heard of the Niagara group, by the way, so you know, but I just don't know who's in it. It's up to you to tell me. And I may feel very silly at the end and say, oh my god, yes, I had a brain tooth there.
So the Niagara group, would they be doing the, do you do the Niagara on the Lake tour?
No, that would be Haunted Hamilton.
Okay.
Yeah, so your paranormal research group, correct?
They do a lot of studies of Fort George.
Fort George is very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yes. You can
Yes.
type in some names. Might help.
Adriana Suez, Suess.
Are you guys on my Facebook friend list or no? Maybe.
Well, they might be after
Introduce-
tonight's show.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, if you like, introduce yourselves for sure. Because, like I say, we really are very paranormally friendly, contrary to what some people may believe out there. But we are very paranormally friendly, and we work with people like all over the place. Like literally, I work with groups worldwide, and I don't just say that lightly. I mean, I really do. And we've made some amazing connections. I think that's what's so great about this whole social networking thing is that people are reaching out to each other from everywhere, and they're connecting and they're sharing thoughts and ideas, and it's so awesome connecting with like-minded individuals.
I said today in our meetup group, I said there was a time when we were not the norm.
No.
Now we're the norm.
We are the norm.
It seems to
all
be
you normal people out there are weirdos.
But you know what I mean? There was a
true.
time to talk about this kind of stuff. They look at you like you had two heads. Like growing up, I would never even talk to anybody about the gifts that I have.
We're kind of like the weird family down the street. We don't talk about that very much.
Exactly, but it's changed, and we're being brought into, like you said, a like-minded community. People are just coming to us out of nowhere.
Well, I think too the fact is like we're going back to the 80s, you know, the whole Ghostbusters era, where people were really open about it for a while. Thanks to the movie, people got an interest.
I thought you didn't like that term.
I'm talking about the movie. I'm talking about the movie. Yeah, you know, that movie brought out so much of the interest, and people were like, wow.
That movie was so cool. Stupid. I just like the song.
It was, absolutely. But
the song was great.
The song was awesome. But I think just the fact that the whole thought about spirits, you know what I mean? Like just breaking loose. And the fact is, a lot of shows came out after that, like Scariest Places on Earth. You know, I mean, it was really popular in the 90s.
I loved that show.
It was the best show ever.
That was all the different haunted houses and the stories behind it.
What they would do is, the Scariest Places on Earth, they would take a family and they'd ship you off somewhere in the world that was just crazy haunted, and you go in blindfolded, and they'd put you in there and say, okay, and they had all these places you had to go to on your own, like Dracula's Castle, or, you know, Chillingham Castle, which was crazy haunted, and they throw the whole family in there, say, separate, and things are happening to you. You have the Krampus strapped to your heads, and you're like, what's going on? They make you do rituals of protection, and it was insane. But
that was a neat show.
It was a huge introduction to many of the shows that were to follow.